Welcome, it's California Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance coming to you from the state's capital, Sacramento, California. We are joined by Curt Hagman, member of the California State Assembly, also a nominee for a seat on the Board of Supervisors in San Bernardino County. I'd like to speak with you about education, an issue that faces both counties and the state. There's a lot of talk about a bond measure focused on water and the drought, but that's not the only one. There's still discussion about a potential school facilities bond. Talk to us about what's been happening on that front. It's been in the background, but it's in the foreground now.
Sure, and both of them are crucial to the state, in my opinion.
Right.
I'm actually the principal joint author on the school bond this year. I've served the last 6 years in the state allocation board. And basically, back in 1998, there was a federal court ruling that says the state has a primary responsibility to provide facilities for the students equally throughout the state. Many areas geographically were building new and had new schools and nice facilities, and others that didn't have much development were 50, 60, 70 years old, falling apart, leaking roofs, all the rest of it. So everyone got together and made the system that we have currently now, and through 3 governors and several bonds later, the system's going out. But right now we're out of money. We're down to 200 or 300 million. Yes.
So, you know, one could argue that with the economy doing better, with the budget in better shape, now's the time to do it. On the other hand, the governor has said he's concerned about what he calls the wall of debt. And do we want to start piling on more bonds? If we have a water bond, and then an education bond, and this bond, and that bond, what's your sense on that?
Yeah, it is a tough one because, yes, we do have a lot of outstanding debt in the state of California. We need to definitely get the economy going to help pay for this. But my feeling is, you know, the state government has very basic responsibilities. The primary ones is to educate our population, to have a workforce here, to provide the infrastructure, that's the roads, the water, and all the rest for the economy to grow, and to provide public safety, our prisons. Those are the 3 main things we should focus on. So this is a matter of priorities for us. I'd much rather see a school bond than us paying for the high-speed rail, for example.
Oh my, fighting words.
So yes, you know, I think it's a matter of, just like you do in your family budget, is picking what the priorities are, and this definitely needs to be one of them.
So you're a member of the Republican caucus. You have Democratic supporter Joan Buchanan. How has the bill been doing as it's marched through the legislature?
I don't think I've ever seen this kind of major legislation go through both houses without a single no vote. And so this is very bipartisan support on both sides, both the Assembly and Senate. Now, right now it's an appropriations.
Right. Who knows what will happen as we speak.
And it's more the political behind the scenes between the governor's office now of when that he wants to have it on his desk to veto or to pass, and I think.
I mean, early prognostication is that the governor is not so bullish on this.
Correct, and it really depends on the leadership on the Senate side, because that's where it's parked right now, of when that they just voted out and put it on his desk and see what happens, or they come up with a compromise on the amount. We're talking anywhere between $5 to $9 billion range. The immediate needs right now that we have on the books in the state allocation board, we have about $1.5 billion right now looking for the state match. And for every 30 cents we put in, we get 60 cents out of the local areas for the local bonds.
I see.
So
it's a matching program?
It's a matching program. It's a multiplier. And I think overall it's a very great program for the state, and especially the modernization, going the computer sciences and the web technology we're bringing in.
Are you concerned, though, that with a water bond on the ballot and a school bond on the ballot, that voters could get squeamish and then vote both down?
We've done initial polling, and both in the 65% range support both these bonds. And California tends to vote more for out of their hearts than out of their pocketbooks.
That may be good or bad.
Yes, and
right.
not that I agree with all those votes, mind you. I think some of the other ones, AB 32 and others, I don't agree with.
Right.
But I think these would pass.
This bill would need, I believe, a 55% out of the voters. The water bond. Do you know?
I don't know if that's
I wonder if it's
higher
50.
or not.
I know.
Yes.
Okay, we'll see. We'll talk about it another time. For our viewers on HLN, I want to thank you so much for joining us. We've been speaking with Curt Hagman. He's a member of the California State Assembly. When we come back, we're going to be speaking about a just explosive decision that came out of a court in Los Angeles County dealing with teacher tenure. I'm Brad Pomerance. We'll be right back. So, sir, let's talk about teacher tenure. We know that California has fairly permissive teacher tenure rules. Under California law, a teacher will be given lifetime tenure after 2 years. I don't know many professions where that is the rule, and I'm not trying to combat one way or the other, but it is a unique system. What do you make of the teacher tenure system giving tenure after 2 years?
Well, I think this court ruling is very explosive, as you put in your intro. I think it really belongs to the fact that do you perform in your job?
Right.
And that's what we all want as residents of California, is our teachers to actually teach, to be
Right.
mobile. So I'm supportive of the decision. I hope we have some reforms after this. I
Right.
hope there's a way to.
And let's talk about the decision for our viewers. The decision being that the LA Superior Court ruled that the teacher tenure system was unconstitutional. The teacher layoff system was unconstitutional. I mean, it went down through the path, saying that this is simply not working. And teacher dismissal rules were unconstitutional.
And we had bills in the past for under the sexual incidents of a couple teachers. We couldn't get them passed out either. That's how strong some of the lobbies are.
But we did have some reform, as I understand it. I mean, you surely know about the Miramonte case, where the teacher was serving male fluids on a spoon to his students. That individual received a 25-year prison sentence and a $40,000 payout from the school district. You know, a bit incongruous. As I understand it, though, right after the Vergara decision, the legislature did pass a bill that speeds up dismissal in those types of egregious cases.
Yeah, but did not the full way that we want to. I mean, if you're convicted of a felony dealing with students, we would think you should be able to be dismissed right away. And it's not. And I think for most of our viewers out there are union protections in place for most other public employment out there, and that should be sufficient. But there should be a process for all of us that want the best teachers to teach our children.
What's interesting about the bill that we just discussed is that bill mentions nothing in terms of ineffective teachers.
Correct.
And I was reading, sir, that every year 2.2 teachers are dismissed in the state of California.
It's not very many, is there?
Not 2.2 in a small district in Amador County. 2.2 teachers in the entire state.
Correct.
And so, that's a commercial I wouldn't want to have to argue against if there's a campaign dealing with teacher tenure.
No, not at all. The system needs to be reformed. We want the best teachers for our students. We're in a competitive state that has to have a workforce that is the best we can. That means we have to have the best education system we possibly can.
So, are there rumblings on Capitol Hill in Sacramento to address this topic?
There's not enough, no.
Really?
I think depending on what side of the aisle you want, that they kind of want it to go away and be quiet.
Oh, I'm sure.
And
because I receive press releases from both caucuses. Press releases coming out of the Republican caucus talk about Vergara a lot. Press releases from the Democratic caucus really don't talk about Vergara.
No, they want it to go away, and hopefully some other incident will come up and this goes away. But at the same time, you have to address it. As this gets appealed and go through the process, if this stands, it changes the entire system for the state of California, and California will probably lead to other states.
Right, and I'm just wondering, if there is no significant reform, will we see an initiative brought by interest groups to ban teacher tenure or seriously reform teacher tenure? I mean, a few years back, Governor Schwarzenegger proposed a change in teacher tenure. It went down, but that was in the middle of lack of popularity by that governor. And so if you look at the landscape now,
it really depends what's the topic of the day, but I do believe it's an issue that we'll see in the future, in the near future, one way or the other, either legislatively or, like you said, possibly taking the hands in the grassroots efforts.
Are you hearing rumblings about it in your district, be it your assembly district or the district in which you seek to serve on the Board of Supervisors? Because, and I ask you specifically in that you represent kind of the classic suburban mom district, the classic soccer mom district, the very, well-heeled areas and some more challenging areas in San Bernardino County, LA County. I mean, those are the moms that are upset about this.
Correct. And most of my constituents, they have a very good life right now. They don't watch these news things so much. And so they really want to make sure their kids get to soccer on time, they're getting good grades, and everyone loves their personal teacher. It's always just like everyone likes their legislator, not everybody else, but they like theirs. I think it's going to come up more and more in the political cycle coming as we see it. And it may become one of the main topics.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, to me, this issue could really be explosive and really change the way voters look at the respective parties. We'll have to see what happens. His name is Curt Hagman. He is a member of the California State Assembly, also a nominee for a seat on the Board of Supervisors in San Bernardino County. I'm Brad Pomerance, and this is California Edition.